Jezebel.
Pretty big ones.
So I've got some stillborn kits here from Jezebel, and this is the second time she's done this. So what's happened is she has her babies and then she tries building a nest for them afterwards. So just in the last 3 litters, the first one, they disappeared. We think maybe one of our cats was getting in there because he's quite a good ratter. We didn't enclose the roof. The second litter, I put Jezebel up in one of the cages with a box, and she just had stillbirths in there again, just a very questionable nest. She hasn't put any time in it, normally a week before rabbits will start building a nest. So that didn't happen, and this time, again, there's just stillborn rabbits here. The nest is like very paltry. So I think I'm going to call it on this lot for the rabbits. We've just we're going to get married soon. So this enclosure, I actually built the rabbits. I always thought that if it didn't work out with rabbits, this would be a really good dog enclosure for when we're away from the property. So I think that's what's going to happen. These guys are now, I think they're starting to get pretty old, these rabbits as well. So I think they're going to go in the pot, and we're going to start afresh in the new year, so next year. The other thing is spring and summer is sort of a mosquito season around here, and we also have some pretty bad rabbit viruses introduced into the country to get rid of rabbits, and so that's a vulnerable time for bunnies as well. So this little experiment, while the rabbits have been really happy and they have had litters, there's something about Jezebel where she doesn't nest very well, and we gave her all sorts of straw and stuff like that to build a nest as well, and she just, I don't know, for some reason she's just stopped. There's a step in her instinct that's gone awry. So the good thing about being on a farm is you can eat your mistakes, which sounds cold-hearted, I guess, but what are you going to do? I can't really sell it to someone because she's a malfunctioning rabbit. Finding stillborn animals is just a really, really horrible thing, and I don't want to do it anymore. Okay, well that's the rabbits aren't working out, but what has worked out is the pigs in this area. They've demolished everything. None of the brackens come back. It's in the middle of winter now, so well, nothing's come back really. The pigs are really smashed. I'm going to have to do a bit of rehab, but they have exposed all of the metal, all of the metal, everything bad in here.
All the rubbish that was in there.
So we're going to get that out, and then what's the next step you got planned, Husky?
Well, it turns out that our goats are not pregnant, so I took them to see a buck in March, and I think it was just too early in the season for them to get pregnant. So I've been doing a lot of research, call outs on Facebook, and contacted the dairy goat, put a call out from the Dairy Goat Association of WA page, and found a boyfriend for our goats, found a buck. But we need to secure this and make it a nice big enclosure, because we're going to keep him in here with the girls for the 2 months that we have him.
I think because we're borrowing someone's goat, I feel a bit compelled to make sure that there's no wire, no sharps, no anything. Our goats are sort of used to navigating this environment, but if they start chasing each other around and getting sort of like romantic,
yeah,
I want to make this a safe area.
Make it safe.
And I've been itching to clean this up anyway. So they're out. The goats haven't really trimmed down much of the grass, so I've put the cow in here to clean some of the grass up, and then we can finally clear up this last remaining nasty animal enclosure.
Yeah.
And then there's the rest of the joint. But
at least we can clean this up for the goats.
Jet, stay. Come on, big boy. Hey, Milko. Okay, everyone get to know each other.
Oh, they look great together. They're a good match.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I first saw him. I was like, oh, he's going to be a lot like our girls. He is young, isn't he? Look at him.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh my god. Oh,
He's nervous.
They're loving his horrible
Smell.
stench.
Their tails have gone straight up like they're on heat again. Oh, he's so nervous.
They're just excited by the new arrival, I guess.
Yeah. Jude. She's in there.
There's nothing grosser than goats.
Dogs.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, dude. Are you happy?
This is going to trigger a heat, eh?
Come on, you guys. So, Dot and Jude have got a boyfriend to come and stay. His name is Milko. And he's 18 months, so he's a year and a half younger than them. But they seem to be settling in pretty well. He came yesterday and they were very enamoured by him. And he seems to be liking his treats. He doesn't mind me patting him yet. We're sort of just trying to become friends. He's a bit smelly. My girls are not pregnant. I took them to see someone in March that you would have seen on video if you tuned in for that. They just weren't in season yet. I don't think it was the buck's fault. I think they just weren't ready to get pregnant yet. But they have been coming on heat now every 3 weeks. And they came on heat about a week and a half ago. So it's good. They've got a week and a half to get to know each other, and then hopefully everything will be on. And yeah, I'm hoping to have some beautiful kids in 5 months' time from these girls. I dried them up. I stopped milking them in March. So they've had a nice break. They've actually grown a bit more. They're looking really good. They have really great condition. Lots of affection, and then a little bit of Jude just being her playful, trying to assert her dominance over him. He is a lot younger than them. He's about 18 months, and these girls are at least 3 years old now. So she just has to make sure that she stays above him, I think. Obviously Dot is well and truly the biggest and most dominant goat. She's got the horns and she's the biggest, so I don't think there's been any sort of issue with that, but these two have been duking it out a little bit, but nothing really rough, more a little bit of play fighting. Milko's not trying to dominate them at all. He's just been quite submissive and quite a good boy. So all in all, so far it's been an okay experience having a buck on the property. I will say he smells not as foul as some people would make out, but it's definitely an unpleasant odour. And now that I've spent this time with them, I'm going to be a bit smelly too. It kind of lingers, and it is all over my girls now. So when I pat them and cuddle them, they've got his smell all over them. Yep, I'm going to have to clean my clothes after this encounter, I think. I'm going to have a bit of a smell on me, that's for sure. I'm going to get the stuff out of here, dude. Okay, I am going to go now. Let's go see the cow. So here's Beatrix, and as you can see, she's huge, and she doesn't like me very much, but she loves her friends the pigs. Pig, 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 pig. So these pigs have become quite friendly now. They weren't very trusting of us before, but yeah, they've become quite friendly. This black one loves to scratch, so it's reminding me of the first pigs we had. They're really quite quiet. The last sort of pigs we had, the mother of these ones, they were so noisy. And Beatrix is quite noisy too. But we're just giving them unlimited food, and we're finding that they're putting on conditions so well this way. So they're having unlimited sprouted poultry mix. So it's a mix of beans and grain that we sprout overnight, and then Troy adds minerals to it, and they just love it, and they're really thriving on it. They're putting on really good condition, nice size, nice shape, and they're just putting on weight so much better than what our pigs have in the past, because we're giving them all they can eat buffet of that sprouted food. So we've set up this electric wire around here so that the pig's food doesn't get eaten by our hungry cows. They've got grass to eat, they get lucerne, hay and oaten hay and chaff and other treats throughout the day. They don't need to eat the pigs' sprouted food, because they would if they could. But this is really effective, just having it at cow height, so where they can't push through. They're really responsive to electric fence. They don't want to mess around with electric fence. So even though they want to, they're mooing, they want to eat the pig's food, they can't get in. So it's all free for the pigs. Beatrix has actually been enjoying having the company of the pigs. Every now and again we'll look out from the house and see her licking one of them or whatever. So she's like kind of accepted him as part of the herd, which is pretty cute. She's super cagey around us, which is a bit frustrating. But yeah, she's got put on some serious condition from Astrid's milk. I want to try and get up to her so you can kind of get a sense of perspective of the size of this cow. She's really big. Hey Beatrix. I want everyone to see how big you are. She must be like 150 kilos now. You want an apple? She's so nervous, hey? She's so nervous around us. Maybe if I just sit like this. She's a beautiful cow, beautiful heifer. Moo. Do you want an apple? It's a good one. It's got a sticker on it still. You're gonna eat some grass. Moo. An apple? She's so silky and shiny and big. It's quite amazing. Quite amazing how big a cow can get in April, May, June, July, 4 months. She's only 4 months old. Okay, so I got back inside in good time. It started to rain out there and I had to have a shower and put my clothes in the wash. They just smelt pretty strong of billy goat. So yeah, I don't know how much time I'm going to be able to spend in there with them if I have to do that every time. Maybe I need to have some special overalls that I just put on when I go out there to hang out with them. I'm trying to make the most of my time because Troy has taken the baby on an excursion today, so I've got plenty of time to myself to get things done. One thing that we love to do in winter is have big pots of soup on the go, and we eat them for 2 or 3 days. And we're due for one now. While I was cooking over truffle season, we had soup going because I was making soup every weekend for people that were coming on truffle hunts. But I'd like to make some soup today that is using the last of our pig from last year, lardo. So we have one smoked ham hock left that I'm going to use to make a massive batch of ham and vegetable soup. There'll be red lentils in it, but also carrot, celery, onions, potato probably, maybe even pumpkin. I'm just going to throw in a whole lot of things that are in the fridge, just put them all in the soup to get really good flavour, and then we'll be able to eat it over the next few days. I'll just show you some of the things that I've learnt. Some of these things are things that my mum taught me, and how to get a really flavourful soup, and perhaps you'll be able to take something away with you after watching this. Yeah, there's nothing better than a nice bowl of warm soup when it's cold outside. I don't actually have any onion left from last year that I grew, but I do have tons of shallots. So I'm thinking I'll just prep a whole lot of shallots and slice them as well and use them in the soup. The way that my mum showed me to get the most flavour in your soup is to prep all the veg, peel them and all that, wash them, and then for cutting them, run them through your food processor on the fine slicer setting. So you get really, really fine bits of carrot, celery, onion, and then you just cook it on a low heat and melt it all down with some of the fat of your choice, olive oil, butter. I'll probably be using leftover dripping from some of the suckling pig that we had earlier this winter. I need to use up a lot of things that are sitting in the fridge. So things like dripping that's just so delicious that we haven't gotten through yet and will go bad if we don't eat it. I'm going to be using that in the soup today. Yeah, my shallots are in here in this basket. So I'll pull out some big ones. What else has been going on this winter? This is all that's left of my garlic. I'll probably just take a little bulb. I'll just take a little bulb with me now. Just get a bit more of these shallots. We've been collecting and drying mushrooms, so we've got this many so far. We've just been drying them above the fire again, and we have got loads of broth put down from when we harvested our pigs in June. But I won't be needing broth for this soup since I'm going to be simmering that ham hock that actually creates the broth. So you just add water to all your vegetables and the ham hock itself. So we'll be able to save our broth for later in the year. So these shallots are wonderful. They've got a really great flavour and they were really easy to grow in the garden. The only thing is they're quite small, so it's a bit fiddly to use them for a soup when I've got to use this many. So I'm going to try and get this done as quick as I can. Obviously an onion, 3 or 4 onions would be a lot more efficient. You've got to sort of peel the skin off each one, so it can be a little bit time consuming, but worth it. So just going to get this all done and then I'll slice everything in the machine. Okay, so I sliced all my vegetables with the food processor really fast. I've just got like a whole saucepan here full of sliced vegetables, so much flavour in here, and I've put a whole lot of dripping in there to cook this in, to render this down and make it all soft. So I'm just going to fire it up on high and then to bring it to heat, and then I'll bring it down on low. Yeah, so I'll just cook this down probably for 15 minutes or so. And then I'll be adding the ham hock and water to cover. So you've seen this is broken right down. I mean, we had half a pot full of vegetables before, and they've sweated down into, well, about 1/8 of the pot now. So I'm just going to add my ham hock. So I've got all that beautiful flavour in the bottom there. The hock in. And this ham juice is quite salty, so I'm just going to put half of it in for now, and then we'll taste and see if we can add more later. Don't want it to be too salty. So I'm just going to put the lid on until it comes up to the boil. Once it comes up to the boil, I'll turn it down, probably onto another hob, and just put it on a simmer, and then I'll cook it for a couple of hours just to get all that flavour. So this is my soup here. We started it yesterday and I just didn't get the chance to finish it for dinner last night. In the end, I had some chops defrosted, some pork chops defrosted in the fridge. So I cooked them for dinner, and we just had a little bit of vegetables and pickles on the side. And I'm experimenting with how to get crispy skin on my chops. So stay tuned. That did work pretty well last night, but I'm just perfecting it and then I'll share it with you. But this is our soup here, so I just kept it cooking while we're eating dinner, and a little bit after dinner then I turned it off, and it sort of stayed warm in this pot overnight, and the meat is now cooked, so I'm going to pull it out and just remove it off the bone and chop it up and put it back into our soup. And then we'll be adding our lentils, and then it's pretty much a done thing. So we'll be able to have this for lunch and maybe even dinner tonight if we feel like it again. So yeah, I'm just going to remove the meat out of here. I have already used a silver ladle. There's quite a lot of fat that rendered out off the skin and the hock. So I was just using a ladle to remove that top layer of fat. There's still a little bit more in here at the moment, so I'll just remove a bit more. And the fat's gone a real yellow color because of the keratin in these carrots that we put in the soup. So I'll just scoop off, ladle off this fat. I'll probably reuse it for another dish. And I'll put it in a jar, so the fat will come to the top, and then all of that delicious broth will be at the bottom. We'll be able to reuse that too. But we don't want this soup to be super fatty. The meat's already quite rich, and the lentils, so I want to scoop off as much of the fat as I can. There we go. I think that's enough. We'll pull the meat out now. We can always top this up with water as well, because that stock is actually quite a strong flavour. I had a try of it this morning. It's quite smoky and quite strong ham flavour. So definitely can top this up with water. Yeah, it's quite strong, salty and smoky. But let's pull out the meat. Oh wow. Here's our big hock, and the meat's all shrunk back off the hock now. You see this hock meat is quite dark. She was getting on, wasn't she? She was a 2-year-old pig, so she was actually using her legs. So I suppose it's no wonder that the hock's quite dark and meaty. And we also had, I had a little bit of pink salt in there, just for preserving when you're cooking smoked meats. And it just keeps the colour. Some people say it keeps the flavour as well. I'm not sure about that, but and just see, I think there might be some more ham meat in here that we can add. Or maybe not. Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, so we'll put a bit more ham meat in. That hock actually didn't have as much meat as I thought. And then we'll be able to top it right up with water, add the lentils, and have a really, really nice soup, actually. So this is the ham from the wedding. This is just the offcuts that we're not going to run through the slicer for the wedding. But look at that, extra meat for our soup.
What you making there, Mum?
Making ham soup, ham, vegetables, and lentil soup.
That's good, because
Try some ham?
me and the bub are hungry after a day working out there in the cold. Well, that's amazing. Good flavour. Is that from close to the bone?
I'm not sure where it's from. It's leftover bits of ham from the wedding ham. Okay, so here's our split red lentils that I'm adding to the soup. I actually soaked them. They're only about that many left in this glass jar, and I soaked them yesterday, ready to use today, but didn't get around to this final stage of the soup. So I'm just going to pour some water in. We actually need to top up the water in this. It's a very intense, strong stock, so it definitely needs watering down, and we'll need extra water to cook the rest of the lentils in. So yeah, I'm going to fill this up with water and pour them in. All right, I'm going to go put this back on the stove. I think we're going to have to simmer it for a little while because some of that meat was still a bit of connective tissue on there that hadn't really softened up. So maybe we'll simmer it for an hour and we'll see how it turns out after that. Well, my soup has been a little bit of a 24-hour project, but it's been simmering away for a couple of hours. I actually ended up adding some pumpkin just to thicken it up a little, and I went down to the garden to get some silver beet just to add some greenery to our soup. So I'm just going to cut these yucky ends off. They can go to the goats. And I'm just going to add this silver beet into the soup. It tastes beautiful. Really simple actually. It's just the flavours of really nice garlic and oniony flavours and carrot, and then obviously that smoky ham flavour from the hock and the other ham skins that we added. And those lentils just make it taste really hearty. And just add my silver beet into the pot. We'll let that silver beet melt down, and I'll just put perhaps some mint and some parsley to go in there as well.
You're behind bars in your stripy suit.
Yeah.
she needs to be in her black and white little stripy suit. She's going to climb over that at some stage.
Hello! I'm just adding the herbs now. We're going to go to Troy's sister's and we're going to take the soup with us. I'm pretty sure there'll be some to come home with us to have tomorrow, so I'll show you how it turned out. We really enjoyed the soup at Troy's sister's place, and the following day I cooked up some croutons using some stale bread and that fat that I skimmed off the soup earlier. So I cooked them up until they were nice and crisp, and I actually served them on top of our leftover soup. Super yummy just to have that extra crunchy element, and a really heartwarming meal to have on a freezing cold winter's day. Well, I hope you enjoyed checking in on what was going on around the farm and in the kitchen this week. If you did, thanks very much for hitting the like button and subscribing to our channel. And as always, a big thank you to those who support us through Patreon, PayPal, and super thanks. We couldn't do this without you. We'll see you at the next one.